Hello everyone. Look at that gorgeous sunshine. Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? So nourishing, full of life. Full of life and full of light. I'm gonna sit down here, possibly get a wet bottom, but that's okay. Oh my goodness. Day 9. Welcome to day 9. And day 3 of the dry fast is well underway. I'm actually going to be breaking my fast today, very soon actually. I'm going to be breaking it very soon. Look at that sun. I might just leave the camera like this so that you can receive all these gorgeous sun codes. I chose not to go to Kung Fu this morning. When I awoke, I needed more time to nourish. And one of the interesting things when you dry fast, one of the really interesting things when you dry fast is that you get really warm, like your core, like your body gets quite warm, and your sleep patterns can shift because of all the energy that you have. So last night, I went to bed thinking, it's nice and dark, 9, 9:30, 10, I'll go to bed, have a nice early night. I was lay there until 2:30 in the morning. And it was one of those where I was like, do I get up and do something productive, or do I just lay here and let the body rest? And that's what I ended up doing, is I just laid there and the time ticked on. But it's funny because I forget sometimes how potent the energy is that we have, and it's just life force energy. It's good. It's fire energy though. It's fire energy. And whilst I was lay there, I was thinking about all these meals that I could be eating and things like that. And it's funny because it's not actually about the food, because like when I actually thought about whatever the meal would have been, when I thought about it in a little bit more depth and I felt it, I was like, oh no, actually that wouldn't feel good to actually eat. That wouldn't feel good. But it was funny because all the flavors and like the sodiums and things like that, and these are things that we numb ourselves with. These are things that we numb our inner fire with without realizing, and as I was lay there, like I still had all this fire energy, and it wasn't, it's very stable. It's very, very stable fire. But it was powerful. And it's life force energy. And it was right in the center of my core, right in the center of my being. And it's funny because I was like, okay, open all the windows. And if you watch the last time I did these videos, oh my gosh, the same thing happened. I was like so warm, and then as soon as I had some coconut water, and when I broke the fast, oh my gosh, it was like a coolant had been applied. So it's really quite funny. But I thought today it'd be really cool to talk a little bit about some of the other sensations that actually happen, because when you go into a prolonged dry fast, and really what I've done is not prolonged. It's really not. Like I say, there are clinics out there, like there's a clinic in Russia, there's clinics out there in various places where they actually do 7-day hard dry fast. So that's no bath, no shower, no water on the body as well. And they do that to heal terminal things that people believe aren't curable. And it's incredible. It's an incredible clinic. I spoke about that in the last series of videos. I can't remember the doctor's name. It's Dr. Filanov, maybe? I can't remember. But anyway, the point is that I wasn't necessarily doing this for the I wasn't necessarily doing this for my body to heal something before it arrives. I was doing this more for the mental discipline to prepare me for the eclipse. And that might seem like a bit of a strange intention, but I just wanted to go into this eclipse as clear as possible so I could see the gifts and the opportunities and the blessings that it wished to bring. And between eclipses now, we've got 2 weeks. And still, I want to continue to be honoring my body and to cleanse my body, but I'll be doing it in a different way. I'll be doing it in a slightly different way. So now my body has emptied what it wants to, what it can, physically, through the bowels, through the gut, and all of the ways as well. I'm going to be having a little think and feel into how I want to continue to support my body over the next couple of weeks and what that might look like. And that might look like a few days on water, that might look like a few days on juice, that may look like a few days on liquid and soups. I feel like I really want to make an Ayurvedic dal and do a dal cleanse, because that's just so delicious, and the flavors have just really been calling me this particular dry fast. Like all the flavors. Oh, I miss the flavors. I don't miss them, but I'm kind of like, I can taste them already, you know? And it is interesting. One of our friends who's been breatharian for 20 years, he's done a few kind of like calls with us. And he was saying, you know, when you start to do this process, your body is going to throw up all these different foods and things that you remember really liking, or that kind of maybe are comfort foods, or maybe you have an emotion attached to. They're all going to get, you know, brought up. And they're going to get brought up to try and, because that's the body, that's the parasites in the body trying to get you to eat again. That's the mind trying to get you to eat something again, because that's its comfort place. That's what it knows. And we know we're not here to stay still. We're here to expand and grow. But what's really interesting is that, you know, he was saying, when you do something like this, your body is going to change inevitably, because you'll have released certain emotional connotations. You'll have released certain things. And in releasing them, you know, you have to give your body, your mind, time to catch up. Because when you release certain dishes, certain foods, certain things that you know no longer serve your body, they do not make your body feel good or perform well, they might be something that it's used to, but it might not actually be serving, then you have to do it gently and over a beautiful period of time, really, not something short. You can't just jump into it, because you'll rebound and it'll be really hard. And the reason he was saying that is he used this analogy. He was like, imagine every food, every ingredient, every dish is a friend, a very close friend. And if you cut them all out all of a sudden and don't go back to any of them, it's like literally releasing all those friends, all those families, and you have no one, just yourself. Can you imagine the level of dark night you'll go through? Can you imagine what that'd be like? You don't want to do that. Slow and steady. Slow and steady, and everything's a process and everything's progress. And you know, it may be that one part in your life you want to do something like this, and then another part of your life you don't want to do something like this. Everything changes constantly, and that's good. That's a good thing. Now, what I did find really interesting, I'm going to share this with you, is today when I woke up, I felt some really interesting things, like in my stomach, in my lower abdomen. I was like, oh, it almost feels like I need to go to the toilet. And, you know, after 9 days of clearing and fasting and cleansing the body and cleansing the system, you would think that the digestive system has nothing else to release. Well, I was surprised this morning when I found that it did. And this is the thing, is that, you know, the body holds on to so much. Like normally I do a tantric, a very old ancient tantric yogic practice called Prakshalana, which is a saltwater cleanse before I do a dry fast. And that is when you have some water that's got salt in, and you do some specific yogic movements to move it through your digestive system, not your water system. It's the same consistency as blood, so it goes through the digestive system, and it essentially clears you out from the inside out. And I didn't do this time. I was just curious to see what it would be like. And even still today, I had something to release, and I was like, wow, who knew? Who knew? I felt like I was so empty and clear already, but no. And the more that we emotionally clear, the more toxins that we clear as well, the body's going to find a way to make that into something tangible so that you can actually physically release it. Now, once again, I was doing this over this eclipse, and this was a really powerful eclipse for releasing things, for seeing things clearly, you know, seeing things that aren't healthy clearly as well, you know, seeing like relationship balances and, you know, things where we haven't been honouring ourselves and things like that. And, you know, those emotions and those core wounds and things like that, they come up to process. But when you're not having water, they're not going to process through the water systems specifically. So the fire's been purging through the body, and this morning when I woke, I was like, oh my gosh, I actually need to go to the loo. And that just shows the potency of what clearing can do, whether you're eating something or not, and also how much the body holds on to without realizing. I mean, even fat, like fat in our body, that's not to do with food. That's to do with trauma. That's to do with emotions that we're carrying. That's to do with things that we've not released, you know? And it's so fascinating when you go deeper and deeper into layers of knowing how the human and the spirit connect and merge and all those things. There are some really interesting things though that do happen in a dry fast, especially after 2 days. Now, after 2 days, or a day and a half to 2 days, your body, like, it is a death process. It is a death process. Because you are letting your body essentially kill off the parts of itself that no longer work. So that might be a bold statement, and that might go, ooh, what does that mean? Make you go like that. Well, the body starts to eat, essentially, decompose the malfunctioning parts of us. So the parts of our DNA which are aging and replicating programs that aren't of service. And that could be tension, knots in your body. That could be tightness in your muscles. That could be in your organs. And so, usually you will, well, for me anyway, this is my personal experience. And I know when I've asked my other friends that are doing this with me right now, they're like, oh yeah, but it's just something that we all take in our stride, and we don't really kind of notice it that much, but it is something subtle. So it's interesting because if there are parts of your body holding on to things that really don't serve, after 2 days of dry fasting, you are likely going to feel like kind of like a pain or a tightness or a sensation or a heat in those areas, as your body releases. Now, that's not to be afraid of. A lot of us are afraid of pain, but pain is the barrier, just like anger is a barrier to understanding the deeper emotions. Pain is a barrier to understanding what the body has been trying to tell you for such a long time. It's just communication. And once you can get past that hurdle, oh my gosh, everything opens up. So these are just a couple of things that do show up. But what of the joys? It's funny because when I'm in the dry fast part, I don't feel ungrounded, I don't feel dizzy, I don't feel any of those things. Sometimes when water fasting, some people will feel that because that's the water element, right? But I personally, I feel so grounded and so clear and so focused and steady, and time just expands. Time expands so much, and that's not because you're not in the kitchen cooking. It's because how you're balancing the day, how you're nourishing the day. You saw the reel that I put up yesterday, just a little bit of how I nourish myself. It was sun gazing, meditation, movement, I did say I chose not to go to the Kung Fu class today, which I was umming and ahhing about. I got dressed for it, I got in the car and everything like that, and then my body was just like, we're not ready for that level of intensity just yet. I was like, okay. And then my body also needed to go to the loo, so I was like, okay, well, that's a sure sign for me. So today instead I'm going to be spending a little bit more time just nourishing myself through movements at home or outside, and the solar rays, meditation and breath work, and hello bumblebee. And then yeah, I'm going to break my fast soon. So I hope that you've enjoyed this this series of sharings, and thank you for saying that that's what you would like to see. And obviously, if you do have any questions, feel welcome to ask them in the comments. Look at that sunshine. Let's just have a little look at that sun one more time before we turn around and walk this way. But yeah, it's been such a joy, and it always is. And I will see you again soon, I'm sure, because you'll see me on the Monday videos and the Wednesday meditations and things like that. But I'm gonna head to I'm gonna head for a walk and I'm gonna head to the shops to go and get some ingredients to maybe make a dal for later on in the week. So much love to you, so many blessings. Bye for now.